Hello, I'm Razan Ismail. I'm a migration policy consultant, and I'm the founder and director of Asociación Kudwa, which is a community-led organization based in Spain, working with migrant communities on the inclusion and integration and the participation of migrant communities. I know MPG through different contexts. They're obviously very present in the Brussels sphere of migration policies and also integration and inclusion. So I've known MPG in their involvement with several projects. They're always present when we're discussing migration and integration. And I had the pleasure of working with MPG on the specific project of the Democracy Academy, where they brought many community leaders of migration background to promote their participation, which is something that I hold very dear. It's a massive theme that I work on. I like to think of myself as a participation expert as well, and community mobilizer. So they offered me this opportunity a couple of times, in fact, to connect with these young community leaders with migrant background, and it was an incredible opportunity. We all know that in the EU or the EU bubble, it can be quite disconnected from the communities on the ground, from the grassroots, and it was an incredible opportunity to link those spheres together. And I think MPG is very well situated because they are present in the EU bubble in Brussels, but at the same time, they have a lot of connections with migrant people. And I think it's an effort that's been increasing, and it's been showing a lot lately that they are making some effort or a bit more effort to bring these voices to the EU bubble. So this is how I know MPG, and I'm hoping to continue to collaborate with them on their various projects. Within the work that I've done with MPG, which is specifically on the Democracy Academy, I think it was incredibly important to bring migrant voices into the context of the Academy, because creating, I don't want to say I'm a role model, but seeing people who are like them working in this context is incredibly motivating. And it makes them feel seen, and it charters the path for them forward. And I think MPG specifically wanted to present this view to the young democracy leaders, I guess. They also, I think, and that was a very important point, is that they linked it to democracy. It's not just migrant community leaders or migrant participation. It's also a theme that is relevant to democracy, that is relevant to the EU future. So participation is a privilege, but also an obligation for everyone who lives in the EU to shape the EU future. And I believe that, migrant communities, they can't vote, but we're trying to create different paths and different methodologies that, and at least for me, and what I try to bring to the table is the connection between democracy and belonging rather than citizenship or legal status. It's also about accountability and about responsibility and participation. Migrant communities' participation is a massive part of that. And I think this is what MPG hoped to bring by engaging with me, and I hope we managed to get that message across. I'm hoping that MPG continues the work that they're doing and continues to engage community leaders like they were. I'm hoping for the Democracy Academy to continue forward. I also think that it's a very critical moment in time when we are implementing the Pact on Migration and Asylum, and I believe that MPG is uniquely positioned to hold the parties or the stakeholders accountable in the evaluation and in the monitoring of the implementation of the Pact. I think this is an incredibly important step that MPG is or can while engaging with stakeholders on the ground, with migrant leaders, with community leaders. It can be an incredible tool to keep an eye on the implementation of the pact. So this is what I hope, and I'm more than happy to collaborate on that as well. And I'm sure that many migrant and refugee and asylum seekers and community leaders are eager and keen to collaborate with partners to ensure that the pact is implemented in within the contract of the fundamental rights of migrants.